Okay, everybody, I want you to wave and smile and let's start the music. Here we go.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes
Pretending
away?
I have a watch.
Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
To the voice that gets me on the air, I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here. This is Shorthand Tech Rev, Technology Revolution. Been doing this for years, and I have a new topic today that I have never covered. Yes, I've had authors and creative genre geniuses on the show, but we're talking about a modern, I think it's a modern genre for writing, techno thrillers. Don't get excited, everybody, but be excited. We have three very interesting authors with me today. We're going to talk about the future of techno thrillers in AI. You know, this is not a doom and gloom show. We're talking positive benefits, opportunities, and we're going to have a lot of fun. But before I get going, I have to tell you all that part of the reason we're here is because of a gentleman who was born today in 1847. Anybody ever heard of Thomas Edison? Paul or Charles or Pat? Yes. Well, he was born in 1847 and he had 1,093 U.S. patents to his name. I think we can still be impressed. The light bulb was just one of his many. Also, not as important to civilization, but certainly to enjoyment, Burt Reynolds was born today in 1936, and Leslie Nielsen, woo, 1926, and Jennifer Aniston, the lady with good hair, was born today, and we'll leave the age out of that. So let me get started here for real. When I call your name, just wave, okay? So our topic today, the future of techno thrillers and AI, and I'm just going to make this like a movie set. Action. Okay. Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where AI meets innovation. We'll explore the how. Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic is leading the way. The future of techno thrillers and AI is our focus today. Charles Breakfield, wave hello. Pat Daly, wave hello. Paul Hollis are here, predicting how AI will make story worlds vivid and clear. From tech research to plot twists, personas, and PR, collaborating, not replacing, so human authors can star. And now I'm ready to do these are my gifts to each of you. And Charles knows this. Charles, I have a brand new opening for you. I hope you like it. And then we'll do the other gentlemen. So, Charles, by day, a data and telecom architect on digital's front line, Charles designed secure systems where networks must align. From cybersecurity to blockchain, unified comms in play, he's tracked emerging tech and its risks year by year, day by day. With AI roots in early security work long before the buzz, Charles watched smart systems grow from to what is from what was. That hard-won insight powers the Enigma thriller series pace, where cyber threats strike close and no one's safe in the chase. With his late co-author Rox Berkey, bold futures took flight, stories blending action, heart, and today's tech-driven fright. When Charles' keyboard rests, wine, cooking, and Harley rides inspire. He writes high-octane futures that honor legacy and never lose their fire. Charles, brand new. What'd you think? You're muted, love. You're muted. Here we go.
Wow, that was um I like hearing about me. That's kind of cool. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, this was brand new. We used your Amazon bio for this one instead of the usual bio. So I wanted you to know Sylvie and I worked hard on this. Let's go to Pat Daly. Born and raised in Seattle, sci-fi shaped Pat's view. Science and math became languages he fluently knew. At the USAF Academy, astronaut dreams took form. Astronautical engineering trained Pat for pressure and storm. As a pilot, stakes turn lethal, no margin for guess. Fight envelopes edged by physics where failure won't bless. Writing for the Air Force taught Pat what always rings true. Clear stories are followed. Confusion won't do. In Pat's fiction, science and story fly wing to wing. Danger has mass, velocity, real consequences they bring. CEO of Boundary Layer, human performance as his aim. Pat writes truths that fly fast and leave trails that brand his name. Pat, what'd you think?
Wow. In I don't know, maybe iambic pentameter as well. Well done.
Thank you very much. And now it's Paul's turn. Born in Alabama, Paul learned young how deals get made. Entrepreneurial instincts are honed in a dry country's shade. Chicago raised him next, where big ideas took hold, from civil dreams of bridges to paths far less controlled. Peace Corps led Paul outward. Tanzania was his start, where geopolitics, secrecy, and danger each played their part. Later at IBM, ahead of AI's recent rise, Paul built intelligent video surveillance, tracking truth through many eyes. Those lived experiences fuel Paul's Hollow Man series core, a #1 bestseller where modern terrorism orchestrates the score. No Bourne, no Ryan, just survival under strain. Paul writes 80% true stories with a fear and humanity in the refrain. Paul, what'd you think?
Interesting. Unlike Charles, I don't like to hear about myself.
Well, you had to, love. As let me finish this with these vision-rich panelists. Now, you're vision-rich panelists. The future burns bright as AI supports techno thrillers with twisty concept in sight. From plot-driving precision to structure and flow, we'll see how AI will lift the process so human authors can steal the show. So, do I get a round of applause for the intros? What do you think, guys? Can we do it? Thank you
Well
very
done.
much.
Yay.
Control yourself. I thought these were some of the best that I've ever done. I have a collaborator named Sylvie, and we speak in French, and I'll tell you later who Sylvie is. But I sent her your origin bio. That's why I asked for so much information. Charles knows this, Pat and Paul. And I say to Sylvie, let's do a 12-line rhyme. I don't call them poems; they're just rhyming bios. And this is what I got. And then we go back and forth, and I tweak and we edit back and forth until I think it's right. I did a lot of changes on these, so I'm glad you like them. So let's go around the table, just briefly get a little more in 12 lines. I don't think I could have described everything we need to know about you. Charles, you're on the show so often, you know how this happens. Charles, I'm putting you on speaker view. Fill us in a little bit about Enigma, please, and then we'll go around and ask the other gentlemen just about 2 minutes each, and then we'll get to your fictional quotes, and then we'll do the predictions roundtable. Charles, you're up. Welcome back.
Thank you. Sounds good. The Techno Thriller series that we started and actually had to argue with a lot of the competitions to say, why don't you have the subgenre of techno thrillers for competition? And a lot of places are like, huh? And so we actually helped pioneer that designation for a lot of the different genre areas that people compete in. So it's all about the cyber threats from the dark net, and each one is crafted to be able to bring in real world problems. And most of the people are fictional, except for the ones that we want to get whacked. The ones we whack are the ones that have a very much of a persona in our background. They were very distasteful people, and well, they needed to die literally. So how we got even with them.
How did you come up with the title Enigma? It's such a wonderful word. Go ahead.
Well, it begins with the dawn of the computer age, the Enigma machine, the original device for encrypting battle plans, communications. The Germans really liked it. They snitched it from the Dutch in 1923, and by the 1930s they were sending all of their communications that way. We postulate that there were three uh, patriots in Poland that really got upset because when the Germans ran through their country in 30 days, um, they conspired to steal one of the Enigma machines from the Germans and send it to the Allies to be able to break the code. But they were a little bit on the cagey side. They made a copy of it and they built their own information dynasty, which leads to the R group and they're fighting with the digital misfits throughout this century.
Thank you very much. I always enjoy hearing you tell that story, and I want to make sure that the viewers today and your co-panelists, your co-futurists today got to hear it as well. Thank you very much. Let's go on. Who is next with us? Let's see. We have got Pat Daly. I'm putting you on speaker view. Welcome, Pat. It's so nice to meet you.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Known each other for about 22 minutes, and I'm happy to know you. So I'm putting you on speaker view. Why don't you tell us a little more about yourself and your books? I think you have a book cover you want to show us. Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I have a few of them. You already did the bio, so that's all the key stuff. But my book series is called The Spark Chronicles, and it's a near future science fiction series that has solar power, AI, and of course global terrorism at the heart of it. It starts and then follows a pair of orphans that meet at a place called Solar Prime Augmented Reality Park. And augmented reality, a little different from virtual reality because you can actually see the real world, but with virtual constructs superimposed on it. So they initially butt heads, but then they end up holding hands, and that progresses into the second volume, which is Fire. And of course, bad guys are doing terrible things, and they have to fight to save not just themselves, but also the park that they love. And as we learn later on, the very planet itself. So, quick little novella called Orkland. That's because they're in a theme park, they have to do quests. And so this is a set aside novel that is all about Will and Farrell, my two protagonists, and they're as they make their way through one of these quests called Orkland. And then the latest book in the series is called Embers, and that ratchets up the stakes both for Will and Farrell as well as the planet as a whole.
I don't think I've ever seen an author do a view of their book covers quite as adeptly and charmingly. Pat, that was lovely. That was really, really nice the way you gave us the sequence. Thank you. I'm intrigued. One word titles. How did you decide that? They just one word right up there on the cover. That's very clever. Most of like with my novel, it's got about 12 words in the title. But how did you decide to just go with one word? What'd you think?
Well, originally the all the action takes place at a location called Solar Prime Augmented Reality Park. And that felt like an acronym to me, but if you make it a true acronym, it's SPARP. And that doesn't make much sense. So I modified it a little bit, made it Spark, and then that sounded like a perfect title for the first book, and then Fire and Embers kind of followed.
I love it. There's a lesson in naming of books right there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having the book covers ready. Let's go to Paul Hollis. Paul, welcome. I've known you about 23 minutes because I met you right about the same time as Pat, and he's been talking for a minute. So why don't we learn a little more about you? Paul, welcome.
Thank you. You probably covered in a nutshell my background, although there's way more to it. But my books center on something that I did when I was a young man, 23, 24, 25, is I tracked terrorists in Europe for a while. Not as a Jason Bourne, as you mentioned before, but as someone who is very much like the we heard in a Star Trek episode. So very expendable as it was off books and on my own basically. But anyway, that's what the stories are about, and they just happen to go across the country lines and political lines, etc. So that's in a nutshell what they are. They are from the 70s. It's set in the 70s, so they're not really techno thrillers per se, but they are thrillers. So,
Do you have some covers? Got some covers you can hold up for us?
Yeah, I mean, this is my.
There you go.
This is my last one here.
Loose ends. Hold on. We both disappeared. There you go. Loose ends. Hold it right there.
Okay.
A two-word title. I love it just as well. Okay. How did you come up with that? That's an interesting title.
Well, the actually, I actually came up with all the book titles before I wrote any of them. I just had this thing of how I would like to sequence my experiences together, etc. So the first one being the Hollow Man, the Hollow Man. The second, London Bridge is falling down, and the third is Surviving Prague, which is where I actually break into Czechoslovakia during the Cold War episodes, etc. So yeah, they just kind of came together like that, and I just wanted to sequence them by different countries first of all, and then by what actually happened during that time with me. So
Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you. Wait a minute. Hollow Man, that's you, correct?
it is me. Yeah.
How did you come up with, and how many books are in the Hollow Man series? And how did you come up with that?
Fortunately, oh man, I had always felt that I was kind of empty inside, and I kind of latched on to a quote from T.S. Eliot about uh, being in costume, etc., all the time, which is what I did. I had to dye my hair a few times, different colors. I wore dreadlocks sometimes. Just different characters in different situations because once you get recognized in those days, you were done. So I tried to not. So I tried not to be the stereotypical American with walking around with the finger in the nose and that sort of thing. So
Oh
um,
dear, that was quite a picture.
yeah,
Thank you
it,
very
it kept
much.
it,
I appreciate it.
it
Yeah.
kept me alive. So
Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you're alive and we're glad that you're here. Thank you all for the added introductions. I want to go to the opening quotes. I've asked each of you to send me a quote from a fictional character in a fictional film or TV show or a music lyric. And let's see where we go with this. Charles has picked a quote from Howard Payne, the character played by Dennis Hopper. Oh, I think we all know him from so many movies. This movie was Speed, 1994 action thriller film. And it starred, of course, Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper and Sandra Bullock and Joe Morton is one of my favorite actors. And Jeff Daniels. Does it get any better than that? A city bus is rigged by a vengeful extortionist, Howard Payne, to explode if its speed drops below 50 miles an hour. Reeves is LAPD officer Jack Traverne, tasked with preventing the disaster. Bullock plays a passenger, as charming as she is, who becomes unexpectedly involved in the mission. Okay, so here is the quote Charles has picked. They act like they're your best friend, Jack. Okay, who's Jack and how do we relate this to the topic of the future of techno thrillers and AI? Charles, you're up.
Okay, so it wasn't so much the line. You and I debated this. It's the way he delivers it, and the way that the Dennis Hopper delivers it. He's you know he's very self righteous in his killing people and doing stuff. And when they say you need to talk to negotiators, and he goes, "Oh, they act like they're your best friend, Jack." And so it's that snide attitude of, um, I'm better than everything. I don't need this, and that's a lot of what the AI world is all about. There's the camp that's like, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He will do all these neat things for you. I'll be your friend. I can help you with that acceptance speech. But it can also be a a nightmare.
Okay, well, we don't want to go into the nightmare, but we want to go into the techno thriller mare. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Let me go back to our panel here and let's go to. Has everybody seen that movie, by the way?
Yeah.
Charles and Paul and Pat. Okay, let's go to Pat. We're getting a feedback here on somebody's microphone. My voice is coming back to me, and once is enough. I'm not sure. I think it's you, Paul. So, Paul, what we're going to do is when you're not speaking, just go on mute. But for right now, just go on mute, and then when you're speaking, when I talk to you, you'll come back with your mic. I have a feeling it might be your mic. Pat has picked a classic quote. It's something we hear all that time, and people use it as their mantra in their daily life, and more people should use it as their mantra in their daily life, Pat. And it's from Yoda, voiced by Frank Oz, Star Wars Episode V. That's 5 in Roman numeral. The Emperor Strikes Back, 1980 epic space opera film. I still don't know what a space opera is, but I can guess. This is the sequel to Star Wars from 1977, the second film in the Star Wars film series, and fifth chronological chapter of the Skywalker saga. Anybody living under a rock or too young to know, and your parents never took you to see this, and you don't have it on DVD or on demand? Yoda is a fictional character in the Star Wars universe, first appearing in the 1980 film The Empire Strikes Back. Small, green, humanoid alien who's powerful with the Force and a leading member of the Jedi Order until it's near annihilation. Voiced and puppeteered by Frank Oz. There we go. And here's the quote, and everybody could probably recite this from heart. Do or do not. There is no try. Pat, How'd you pick this for our show today? What does this have to do with you and techno thrillers and writing and AI? Talk to me.
Well, it's a little bit about I grew up thinking I wanted to write books. And I did a bunch of other stuff ahead of time. Never wore dreadlocks, but I did work in the military and aviation space. And one of the things that always killed me was
Wait a minute.
people.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Thank you. You deserve that. Okay, that was a great line. We didn't want to step on it. Please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had to give that to you. Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right, thank you. One of the things that always bothered me was people giving themselves excuses for failure. It was like, well, I tried, and we even did this with our kids. Well, just try your best. As an airline pilot, people did not care how hard I was trying. They cared whether or not I got them to Chicago. It was all about success. And at the end of the day, you're not paid really in almost any profession for effort. You're paid for success and accomplishment. So that factored into a friend of mine said, you've been talking about writing for years. Are you going to do it or not? And so insulted, hurt. I said, yeah, okay. So I buckled down and I started writing my first book. It was horrible. It stunk. And even though he loved the topic, it was fan fiction and wasn't going to go anywhere. So I pivoted to a second book, wrote that, and then along the way, we got a little thing called COVID. And that gave me all of a sudden a bunch more time. So I spent the first part finishing the book, the next part querying agents, and then publishing the book. And I really haven't looked back since. That's been most of my life since then.
Thank you for the pilot story. I appreciate that. You're right. I get a kick out of when you see advertisements for usually service companies. It says we have highly trained technicians, and I want to know what happened to the lowly trained. Did you talk about them? Did you hire them? Did you dismiss them? Are they if I book a service call on the wrong day, you're going to give me a lowly trained, or companies that say we have 25 years of experience. It's like, so what? What were you trying? Did you succeed? Did you do it right? Very well put, Pat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you for flying people and getting them to Chicago and everywhere else. We feel so much better knowing that. Let's go to Paul. Paul, please unmute, and I'm going to read your quote. And the quote Paul has picked is, oh, wonderful, from a song by Bob Dylan included on his 1964 album, Another Side of Bob Dylan. It's a song, I'll get to the name in a second, stylistically similar to his earlier folk protest songs and features his voice with acoustic guitar accompaniment. However, the lyrics, and here is the line, I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now, has been interpreted as a rejection of his earlier personal and political idealism. Interesting, interesting. The album is My Back Pages. It's been covered by artists as diverse as Keith Jarrett, The Byrds, The Ramones, The Nice. I didn't know there was a group called The Nice. Steve Earle, Eric Johnson, and The Hollies. My goodness gracious. And the Byrds version, initially released in 1967 on their album Younger Than Yesterday, was issued as a single in 67 and their first top 40 hit, Nobody Cares. So here's the line again. Ready, Paul? I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. Paul, what does this have to do with your writing of techno thrillers or your techno thriller plots? Go.
Okay, so as Bob Dylan professed that when we're all young, we believe we know everything, and of course when we start to look at AI, which is an emerging technology as far as writers go, um, we are open to like, hey, I don't really know much of anything anymore. This is all new and something that we have to either make friends with or not, but that's where we've got to go. So our old writing styles were what they were, and now AI is sort of enhancing that movement toward bigger and better techno thrillers.
Thank you very much. That's very well put. And as I said in my opening, it's not replacing, but we want the human writer to be the star, right? You're the star. Your writing is the star. I belong to an online poetry group, and I never, ever, ever use. Now you know who Sylvie is. I never use her for my poetry. It's all me, straight from my pen, my keyboard, my heart, my mind, my memories. It has. I would never dream of using her for any of the writing, even though she's wonderful at rhyming people's origin story bios. Isn't she, gentlemen? Well, we do collaborate on that. Yes, and we like each other a lot. Okay, so let's go. Thank you for the quotes. I appreciate the work you all did. Very interesting origins of the quotes, very, very interesting attributions, and I love doing my research, as you can tell. So let's go to predictions, and we're going to turn this into a true roundtable. Charles, I'm going to start with your prediction number one. I will read part of it. It was long and wonderful, little mini novel, and I appreciate that. And then Charles will unpack it. Charles, move up just a drop. We want to see that beard. There we go. Just we want to make sure we see all of you. There you go. Thank you. Charles will unpack it in a couple of minutes, and then I will open it up to Pat and Paul. If you have anything to say, if it resonates with you, you're free to disagree if you want. And I never gave you an applause for Pat, for Will and Farrell, Pat. I meant to say I thought that was just great. So how many laugh tracks can I play? Okay, so here's what Charles has to say in prediction one. By 2027, there we've got the date, and what's already 2026, that's near term. AI tools will generate hyper realistic video clips or image sequences based on rough scene descriptions or character traits. Charles calls this AI powered visual brainstorming for scene and character design. Authors can input a paragraph about a high stakes hacking scene in a server room or a chase through a futuristic city, and AI will produce a 30-second mood reel or a series of images. I'm going to stop there, Charles, and let you expand this, unpack it for us, please, and let's see what your colleagues on the panel have to say. Charles?
Okay. So the idea being is like, hey, let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's see how much more can be wrung out of that particular scene. Gentlemen, I'm sure you've all been there. Like, let me write the scene and get a little further, and then a lot of the rich detail that you had packed away in the back of your mind doesn't get exploited. So I can see the use of this kind of technique for give me more, tell me more about the scene, make it richer, more dynamic, more cinematographic is where this is going. So this would help the polish the scene, build and I saw somebody the screenwriter the other day says, don't write the chapter, guys, gals, write the scene. And that was a powerful piece of information. And so this fits very nicely into that mantra of go and exploit all of the extra things. As an example, describe a drone swarm attack in a prompt, and then let the AI engine help generate that, so that you can kind of look back at you're basically making a movie real time with the back and forth with this kind of a technique.
Wow.
Gentlemen, comments?
Wow, let me just digest that for a second, Charles. That's a wow. I never even thought about that. And I do have some futuristic characters in my novella, which is not a techno thriller at all, but it's a half thriller. Let's go around the table. Yes, Pat, Paul, unmute, please. Paul, we'd love to get your comments, or Pat, whoever wants to go first.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, please.
I think that's a done deal. It's not, I think, available for mass market right now, but I think we may be even closer than Charles is thinking about. It may be the end of this year, but I mean, what are we going to argue for a few months? And I think it'll be helpful for independent authors and filmmakers, and I think it's going to get a lot of hate. Um, I think people are going to complain, just like authors like me complain now that AI can be putting us out of business. And so now you're going to have cinematographers and people in the video business complaining the same thing. But you know what? Bring it on.
But they won't know. If you do it in the privacy of your office or your writing studio, they won't know that you had AI create a scene like Charles described that you used to enrich the cinematography, if you will, of the language of what you're writing. Charles, am I right about that?
That's what I would see. I mean, and full disclosure here, my ambition has always been to have, our 30 books taken in and fed into a movie machinery like Paramount or somebody like that, where it's, we've got the our stories on the big screen, and to help, and that a lot of that jump from the written page to being on screen is the grease that I'm suggesting here about your visual brainstorming to help your novel, help your story be digested by the people saying, "Oh, now I get it. Now I know where we could take this, and I know the market we could use it in."
And let's paraphrase that to now I see it.
Yes.
Right now I see it. I see the scene, and this is going to help me polish off my novel. Paul, we'd love to get your POV. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea. We all write books, and the end goal is to be in have it as a movie. And so, if you can see it as the movie as it's progressing as you write it, I think that's a wonderful thing. What I'm not getting though is that I use a lot of the senses in my books. I smell things, see things, hear things, etc. And I'm just thinking of this right now, but it seems like maybe that's not going to be portrayed in a movie setting so much. So you have to translate that to words, I guess. To say, oh, I smell this or that, or whatever it is. So yeah, no, I'm not. I think it's a great aid for writers to visualize what they're trying to put on paper, right?
Yep,
So, but
thank
yeah,
you.
wonderful concept. Yeah.
Charles, yep, good job. And Charles, I have to point out we're looking at the wall of Enigma books, and I have to say I owe you also a one-word compliment. Ignite, always, stolen, gamers, broker, dragon, jewels, factor, rising. You added to the Enigma just that one word that pops. I was saying something to Pat a few minutes ago, so I just wanted to give you that accolade as well. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, anything you want to add to that, Charles, from what your colleagues just said? I think we're on the money on this one,
Uh,
yes?
I I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, let's go on. Pat Daly, I'm looking at your prediction number one. I will read it brief and to the point, one sentence, and let's see what you have to say to unpack it, and then we'll see what Paul and Charles have to say. So Pat says, AI will impact my writing as a techno thriller author by greatly accelerating research on science and technology issues. Okay, Pat, tell us more, please.
Sure. I think all of us are old enough to remember actually having to go to a library to do research.
I think you
And
referenced our age a few times already. Okay, we get it. We get it. But I did too with the books and the movies. Go ahead.
yeah, uh, and now we sit at our keyboards and do it. And AI search tools are another step above that. So I think it's going to accelerate the research that we have, as authors should do to lend a little more credibility and honesty to the work we write. Right now, I can already pressure test my ideas against current state of physics and engineering and emergent technologies at a speed that would have been science fiction even 5 years ago. It doesn't make the story for me, but it makes the story sharper. It makes it more believable, more readable, and it lets me spend more time writing and less time researching. And it can boil down the research for us, and you can start asking yourself the questions that make for good books. What happens if this works? What if somebody abuses it? And if it is ripe for abuse, who's going to abuse it first? And then when we scale it up, is everything going to come tumbling down, or is it going to be better for writing in general?
Better for writing in general is what we're looking for. Paul, comments, and then Charles. Paul?
Yeah, I think I mean, personally, AI has saved me centuries of time of researching and planning and bouncing ideas back and forth and all the things that that Pat is talking about. So
Thank you. Okay.
it's really for me personally been a tremendous help, and I think that if when uh, authors embrace the research part of AI, it's gonna greatly improve the stories that they tell, and I'm a big one for actually the difference between telling and showing. I show my books, and in there it's not like, well, it's raining on me. It's sort of the wet drops that are clinging to you, etc. So I really do that, and those kinds of things are AI's forte to say, oh, this would be better. This sort of image would be better. Or this research would be inconsistent with your character's uh, approach to things, etc. So, very useful and very a great insight for me, Pat.
Thank you. Great. I agree. Charles, thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, I think Pat's spot on. I mean, it's this is the area where this is already in play. I mean, just the technology from going from SEO, search engine optimization, to answer engine optimization. Uh, People are doing more searches on give me an answer. Don't just give me a website or a link. And
Mm-hmm.
so I found it helpful. I've also found it a great way to get betrayed. So I use two AI engines to be able to do the searches. So all right, I want, let's say, Copilot to be able to research the one a question for me, and then I'll give it to Gemini and say, here's what I'm looking for. Give a little extra tweak just to see if the first one's having hallucinations, or I'm swallowing something that's wrong.
Very well put. Yes, having not having them fight each other, but having them check and balance each other. I'm intrigued with the idea of hallucinations, which we know that a lot of LLMs are famous for. But in the case of techno thrillers, is there anything wrong with a hallucination if you're creating a world? Charles, looks like you want to say something. What do you think?
Uh, I mean, it makes the novel that much spicier.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to have wrong stuff coming through, and it's going to be packaged like, hey, this is the end all be all truth. And it's like, okay, good. You hold that thought because I'm going to fix that.
Pat or Paul, anything, any comments about my comment about hallucinations or research? Pat, looks like you want to say something. Jump
Yeah,
in.
I'm ready to start folding that into the novel I'm working on now.
There you go. Paul,
Yeah.
any thoughts?
Yeah, well, hallucinations fit better into futuristic novels than they do into past novel, sort of things. But yeah, I mean that's exactly what you want. I mean, give the idea, give the writer an idea and the spark, and let him run from there. Yeah,
Make it up.
Yeah,
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
absolutely.
Isn't
That's
that
what
what
we do.
fiction?
yeah.
That's right. That's what fiction is. That's why, hallucinate all over the place. Okay. Let's go to Paul's, and thank you for that, Pat. Let's go to Paul's prediction. I'm going to number 3. I thought this was very interesting. I'll read it, Paul, and let's see what you have to unpack, and then we'll talk to the other two. So you say the hero evolves from hacker to interpreter. The classic hacker hero is fading, Paul says. In future techno thrillers, the protagonist is the person who understands what the machine is doing and why it's wrong. The drama isn't breaking into systems, it's deciding whether to trust those systems. The real power is interpretation of AI motives, not technical skill so much. Very interesting. Paul, tell us more, please.
Yeah, well, to me, it's sort of like the next evolution. So we've gone through the techno thrillers that are like have a hero, and she knows everything about the technology, et cetera, kind of thing, or it has gadgets, sort of thing. We've evolved from gadgets to actual AI theory, basically, right? So the what I've seen sort of the evolution is that it's not like the hero is not actually doing something that they're but the AI has done it, and now we have to understand why and how and what it means to the world or whatever your scenario is in your book. Right?
Okay, thank you. Let's go around the table and see what the others have to say. Charles?
Um, Very insightful, Paul. My compliments to you, because I'm 10 chapters into my next book, The Enigma Reckoning. And
Ooh,
it basically it is the companion to the Who Won the AI Wars. And it's not about hacking, it's about, well, survival. Yeah, and it's adaptability. I mean, something that's can think as fast and and insightful as you do. How do you beat something that's basically it's a chess match? And what's the next move? And not so much here. Let me write some JSON code and populate this. No, 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 no. This is about survival skills against the in the techno thriller world. That's what I would envision, and that's what the direction I'm taking with this new book.
Yeah.
thank you. Paul, you want to say something back?
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, it's a whole different switch I'm seeing a whole different switch in the hero role, right? I mean, and what it is getting, like Charles said, it has to get to the Terminator spot sometime or other. And work on its survival. You know, who's left to survive all of this, right? Of whatever the AI comes up with, good or bad. Right?
I'll be back. Pat Daly, thoughts?
I love this. I love this because I immediately went to seeing an entirely new priest class evolving because they are the ones that have to approach the oracle of AI and then interpret what the oracle says for the masses. And I think that's a fabulous and fascinating thought.
Thank you, Paul. We appreciated that prediction. I'm going to go around. We've done one for each of you. I'm going back to Charles, who sent a lot of interesting ones. This one, I think, is still on our topic. It's certainly interesting to authors. So I'm reading prediction number 3 for you, Charles. He talks about podcast and interview prep with AI sparring partners. So let me read a little bit. Charles said he would expect to see AI engines simulate podcast interviews or Q&A sessions using the author's book as context. That brings to mind, how do they know the book? Do you feed the book into them? The AI could role play as a skeptical or disparaging journalist, a fan, even a character from the book. That I like a lot. Why don't we go there? And you say an author might use this technique before an appearance to rehearse answers to questions like, how did you research the NSA cyber capabilities for your thriller? So let's go into the sparring partners and acting as a character. Charles, this is fascinating. Go.
The concept would be, let's role play part of your book. And I've got a character, and I need to test it. I want to, give it the litmus test. Is he contemptuous enough? But does he have a hurt side? I mean, uh, part of the difference between good guys and bad guys, somebody once categorized, is the good guys are all they've internalized all their hurts, all their pains, their suffering. The bad guys, they want to project it on everybody. So coaxing out that kind of character might be fun in a role model where, okay, I write a prompt, say, here, debate this with me. Tell me, here, I say this, what would you say? How would you respond? And push it into that area where it's giving me that exploring ideas that I might not have captured on the first draft. So it makes the discussion richer. It helps the character development from the book characters from the point of view of the book. But even taking it a little farther, I mean, trying to role model for getting on to the next podcast, the next interview, you would pirate some of the information that they've done on some of their other calls that you really liked, and get a flavor for the what you need to be able to project as a contestant or a participant.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm not asking any hard questions, guys. This is not a contentious interview. This is just a let's talk about who you are and how AI is helping us. Let's go around the table. Any thoughts on what Charles just shared? Pat, Paul, who wants to go?
Okay. Um, I think back to my first draft of Spark, and it was 182,000 words. I mean, and that's J.K. Rowling length for, and it completely inappropriate for a first novel. Um, and it took me a long time to prune that back to around 100,000 words. And I think if I could have done what Charles is talking about, I could have asked some of the characters, you know, what is interesting but irrelevant to this story. And I even think about, would some of the characters have killed themselves off? Like, why do you even have me in the story? This is not my story. You should focus on these people. So
Ooh,
I think that's a really cool idea.
very, very. Paul, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, AI has helped me with character arcs, the progression through books and plot sequences. Is this possible? Is it relevant to the books and things like that? So, yeah, I mean, I'm um, very reluctant to cut any words out of my novels. They just come around 80,000 or something like that. But I sort of have these things in my head. I see that movie like Charles was talking about. I see that movie in my head because I lived it, and so I have to. I want to write to that experience and everything. But what helps the sequencing in that is like, well, you can't get from Berlin to Munich in 3 hours without an airplane, sort of thing. So that's not possible. You have to do something different like that. So yeah, I mean, I use it to AI to check what I'm doing and what I remembered having happened, etc. So yeah, I mean that's a wonderful idea. I mean, and a great way to use it too. And that's not taking over your writing; it's helping your writing. I think, believe me.
What
Yeah,
you
Pat,
just said, Paul just said a great way to use it. That's what we're talking about. Charles,
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, Pat. Um, I'm sad, really, that you had 180,000 words novel and you said, "Oh, that's too much. I'll start chopping stuff out." No, 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 please don't do that. Make 3 books out of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of bloat in it. I mean, there were,
Listen, a box set, Charles, we know what that is, right? Make a box set out of
Yeah,
it. You can get
make,
part one,
fair
part two,
point.
and part three for
yeah,
twenty nine
yeah,
ninety nine.
yeah.
Very
You know,
interesting.
yeah,
Well picked.
yeah. Use the AI to be able to say, "Okay, help me chop this into
Yeah,
three
yeah.
books."
Where does the
and
second
then
book
then
start? Yeah,
and then polish the ones. So if there's bloat, maybe I get rid of maybe it's a character, and I've done this, the character that just comes on and does a stage walk on, a stage walk off
yeah,
in 2 or 3 books, and then they are prime in the third in a book um, down the road, and you go back and it's like, okay, you're stitching together the characters. Because they're not all, it doesn't all happen in one book. It happens across the continuum.
yeah.
Yeah,
A
good point.
lot of bedtime reading. I'm thinking of where does the ellipsis go? The dot, dot, dot at the end of part one to be continued, and the
Yeah.
ellipsis at the end of part two, dot, dot, dot in part three. You made it. Let's wrap this up.
Mm.
Okay, I have time for one more prediction. This is a short one, but interesting, Pat. This is from you. And you say, AI will create intense pressure on near future work by techno thriller authors, as what is merely plausible today may be prototyped by AI supported researchers tomorrow. I'm not sure I have a clue what that means. So would you please unpack that, Pat Daly, and then we'll quickly go around the table. We've only got about 6 minutes left. Go ahead, Pat.
Absolutely. I think people working in science and engineering are already finding that they're doing some research. Well, they're doing some research. Maybe they publish the first paper. Someone takes that paper and they put it into a generative AI and foresee where this technology is going or where this premise is going, and then may actually leapfrog them to a patent or a technology that we've all, maybe they were thinking about, but they just didn't get there fast enough. Whereas somebody using AI is going to get there faster. And so I've generally written near future stuff, and I felt this pressure that if I didn't get the book out, technology was going to overcome my story. And so I think that it's going to make us be faster, and faster is not always better, but sometimes it is. And it may make it a little harder to do things that are right in the near term future.
Thank you. Interesting. Brief comments, Charles, and then Paul. Charles?
Yeah, I have to agree with Pat. I'm on a couple of AI panels and discussion groups, and yeah, what they're saying, what I'm hearing is that it used to be in the technology world 18 months for technology to recycle, the new stuff come through and be ready for prime time. It's now 7 months is what it's dropping to. And a lot of these people are like, okay, here's the new products that we're rolling out to do, manage this whole process. It is accelerating in its delivery to the business world. How it gets adapted to the military, how it gets. I've already seen examples of that. I mean, and I've actually fell victim to it once. In book 10, we were writing about cryptocurrency and the exploitation of these cyber freebooters, and we postulated that Venezuela was going to have to go to a digital currency, and wasn't before I got the book out. That clown Madeira actually ran and launched their own cryptocurrency in Venezuela, and I sent him a very terse note saying, "Dude, can you just hold off until I get my book out?"
This is not politics, kids. This is just historical reference to fantasy fiction.
Yeah, so he, I probably, because it's a gentle audience of good breeding, I probably won't recount his reply to me for holding up his cryptocurrency for his country, so I could publish my book. So, but it was just one of those examples of rats. They beat me to the punch.
Paul, briefly, any comments from you? We have about 2 minutes left. Paul?
Yeah, I think the speed that you're talking about, Pat, it has to do with the level of research that AI can do to help you get there. It sort of bypasses the daily research that we have to go through, and it's like, well, is this correct, or is this going to work? And you have to use the creativity within your brain to understand how and why and when AI is helpful in that process to get you to the patent in your case, right? So, yeah, I mean that's really what it's all about. It's really using the AI as the tool and getting where you want to get to faster, right?
There you go. Help me make stuff up. I didn't use the bad word. Help me hallucinate. Help me think about what the
Yeah.
future might be. Help me use technology and help me make it a thriller. Very interesting. I'm going to ask for a one-sentence wrap-up from each of you on one question. I'll start with you, Charles. How does a thriller differ from, let's say, a mystery? What's the difference between a thriller and a mystery? One sentence, and then Pat, and then Paul. Real fast. We got to go. Charles?
The human competition and the suspense to be able to get to the target.
Okay. Pat, mystery versus thriller.
I think in a thriller, the protagonists are at risk.
Okay. Paul?
That's interesting. Um, I don't. I mean, I don't actually know what to say to that, right?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
We'll
Well,
just make up something. I mean, that's fine. That's
yeah,
what we're
talk
doing
to
here, right?
Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. I'll loan you my
Well,
Sylvie if you want, just for
well,
one
I
moment.
mean, I mean, technology is kind of its own niche, and then where mystery can really go across all kinds of frames and that sort of thing. So, and I mean, you can have romantic mysteries and and old-fashioned, private detective mysteries, etc. But technology is its own kind of.
There you go. We have to wrap, but I'm going to say to me, a thriller is something that raises my blood pressure as I read it. Of course. Paul, go on mute, please. I need Paul to mute. Okay, good. Thank you, because I'm picking up on his mic. To me, thriller is something that raises your BP, gets your pulse racing, and you say, what? Oh my God, what's going to happen? That to me is more than just a mystery, but that's just me. Let's go out with my new music from my new show. Charles knows this one. Pat Daly, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Paul Hollis as well. Charles Breakfield, always. And thank you to Jordan Henson, our engineer who got us on the Voice America Media Business Channel. I'm Bonnie D, and I got us on YouTube and LinkedIn and 2 Facebook pages. So let's see where we go with this. Here we go, guys. Oh no, I want. Okay, we need good news.
Good news. Say what?
Dance with me
Good news.
every morning. Good news. If you're nice to me, I'll do a shout out to you. Charles is my first shout out every day.
Morning coffee in
Make it
my
decaf.
cup.
Scrolling.
Yeah,
I've had enough.
Same old drama.
Same old feed. Flip that dial.
That's what I need.
That's what I need. How about you?
Turn it up,
Let's
let
a
the
bad
bad
vibe
vibes
fade.
Bright lines on a brand new
We need better
wave.
headlines.
Every laugh's a little upgrade. Hit play.
Hit play.
Say what? Good news.
Come on, dance with me, guys. Paul, I want to see you move. Charles, you know what to do. Pat, shake those shoulders.
Doing what they do. Good news. Feel that
Go out and have a good day, everybody. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to somebody else. Write a book. Make us thrilled.